Testing, 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 testing. Hello, hello. This is Andy talking. Testing, testing. This is Andy talking. Is the mic working? As far as I know, my voice should be being picked up. I'm talking, I'm talking, I'm talking. Is it getting picked up? I'm talking non-stop. uh, yeah, it's at the moment looks like we're talking to ourselves, Ravi, but we've got talking to each other at least. We've got Only G. We've got the Only G on pole here. He's only a tenth of a second ahead of Sebastopano. Let's see if Ollie Marr can put himself up into the mix here as he comes up and over the line here. Currently set P4 in this session, and he can stay. He stays P4, goes faster, but stays P4. Testing, 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 testing. Hello, hello. This is Andy talking. Hey, Rav, you're not audible on the stream. This is Andy talking. I think it's your audio sharing. It's your audio sharing on PS4. No, it's your audio sharing. My voice should be being picked up. It's your audio sharing, mate. If you alter it on PlayStation, you just need to press share and go to sharing and broadcast settings. You should be able to sort it out there, mate. Alright, they can hear me now anyway. So ladies and gentlemen, that was the qualifying session here for Motive Racing's Touring Car Championship, the round one here at Nuburgring Sprint. The Only G there taking pole position, narrowly ahead of Sebastopano by just a tenth of a second. Smithy just edging out Ollie there for P3. We've got Grandad Stee, Nathan Rutter lining up on the third row with Peanut and his son on 7th and 8th. That's Peanut and Rob there, 7th and 8th. We've got the Mutts Nuts and Smoky Devil rounding out the top 10 here. Then further back down the pack for this opener, we have got Falguest in 11th, Emo Guy 12th, Mr. Rogie and DJ Phil is going to be rounding out the field for this one. Stay tuned guys for the first ever touring car race here, the first ever championship touring car race here at Motive Racing. Should be an absolute cracker of an event. We can't wait to get started. Stay tuned. Awesome stuff. Hopefully you guys can hear Ravi now. Let us know in the comment section if Ravi's audio is working. If it isn't, please give us a shout so we know what we need to do. So we need to sort it out. But this is going to be a quick sprint race here for the opener here tonight. It's going to be the Only G starting at the front. In the end, Sebastopano putting in a fantastic time. I didn't really know Sebas had this much pace in these touring cars. I didn't know he was a front wheel drive specialist as well as a GT and GT3 driver. So it's a nice surprise to see him well up there in the mix, ahead of Smithy actually, and Ollie as well. But Rav, it's a great time from the Only G, multiple world record holder here on Project Cars 2, and I believe he has the V8 supercar record around this track as well. So do you think anybody can stop G tonight? It's okay because I think it's all right because we can see we're currently looking at Smithy on the stream. I think as soon as the race starts, it should hopefully sort itself out. We're a few seconds away from the start here, guys. If you like what you see here on the Motive Racing channel, then be sure to slap a like on this video, subscribe if you're new around here, and join us on our Discord server. All you need to do is go to our YouTube homepage, click on the icon in the top right hand corner, which will take you straight to the action. It looks like we are seconds away, 5 seconds from the start. It looks like everybody's ready up in time, and we are about to go racing here at the Nuburgring for the first ever race here in the MRTCC. The lights are going to be out any second now, And it looks like we are underway, and it's a great start there from the Only G. Gets away perfectly. Looks like Stefano a little bit bogged down off the line. He's already got Maida Peanut making gains on the inside. Looks like Maida Peanut in the BMW making an absolute flyer of a start. He's already up into the lead here on the outside of the Only G. Can he hold it coming into turn one? These guys are going to go hard on the brakes. Looks like Nathan Rutter also got a good start as well. And Grandad Steve making progress. Here we come. And it does look like we've got Smithy here in the mid-pack getting a little bit of a poor start. But Maida Peanut, what a start in the BMW. Goes from 8th to first before we even got to turn one. It looks like G is in second place. It's got Nathan Rutter just ahead of him, and it looks like Smithy there almost getting tagged a little bit behind there from Grandad Steve. Grandad Steve in the end gets passed on the inside by Stefano, and Grandad Steve still trying to hold it around the outside of him though, as Smithy holds it in 5th place for the time being. It looks like he's just behind Ollie and trying to get back into this race. We've just lost our race director here, Ravi, unfortunately, to a disconnection. Hopefully he can get back in as soon as he can, because our camera's currently locked on to Smithy. So the sooner Ravi gets in here, the quicker that we can get some decent camera angles here in this one. But regardless, the Only G currently leads the pack. Maida Peanut right behind him. Looks like the Only G managed to get the position back off of him after Maida Peanut made that unbelievable start to the race. I don't know how he managed to get it hooked up so nicely there, but he really did get it perfectly. He's trying to hold off Nathan Rutter here, and Nathan's been tagged, and it looks like Nathan's been taken out there by Smithy. There's massive amounts of contact coming into the chicane. Smithy in the end having to get off the gas and wait for Nathan after tagging him round coming through the chicane. Ravi, can we just get an update? Are you anywhere close to getting in back in? Great stuff. Alright, that's good to know. We've got currently seeing Smithy here coming into the pits. No, he's not actually. He's staying out. He's just had to let Nathan by because he did tag him as they came into the chicane. So we're currently locked onto this while we wait for our race director to jump back into the room. But that is just incredibly unfortunate there for Nathan and for Smithy as well. I'm sure it wasn't an intentional thing for him to end up tagging him round. But Maida Peanut is in for his mandatory pit stop. It's not a mandatory pit stop. I think he must have had a drive-through. It must have had a drive-through. So that flying start in the BMW maybe wasn't quite as impressive as we first thought, because he did actually jump the start. That is a very unfortunate shame there for Maida Peanut. Smithy now trying to make some progress here. Looks like he's right behind Nathan Rutter here. Is he going to have a look to the outside? He is going to have a look. Is he going to make it stick, or is he going to try and hang it? It looks like Nathan Rutter a little bit late on the brakes, runs him out of room, just squeezes him out ever so slightly, and for the time being he still can't get by him. Nathan going defensive on the way into this into this section. It looks like Nathan getting a slightly poor run out onto this straight. Is Smithy going to have a look to the inside? We know the BMW's got better straight line speed, but is the Megane going to have the traction coming out here? It looks like in the end he did have a better exit coming out onto that straight and ultimately picked up the position in the process. Smithy is up into 10th place. Nathan Rutter down to P11. Now Smithy can chase after Smoky Devil up ahead of him. You can see at the top of the screen there, the Only G has stretched out a 3-second gap at the front to Stefano. Ollie and Grandad Steve are very close in company. We'll hopefully get some eyes on that battle for second place as soon as we can. Here we go. We've got some eyes on the leader. The Only G currently absolutely running away with this one at the moment. The battle for second place is looking very hot here. Ollie looks like he's done on the inside into second place. He's got ahead of Sebas, but Sebas is coming to go straight back at him here, coming into turn 2. Ollie gives him a little bump on the back, and Ollie goes for a spin. Almost, it looks like Ollie just about clings onto it, but Grandad Steve moves up into 3rd place. Ollie there looks like he had to catch that at the last second and managed to grab hold of it. He was very close there. Got a tank stopper coming around turn 3, but he has managed to keep it. And as Grandad Steve's now going to have to look out because Ollie's going for a dive. Look up there from Grandad Steve. Ollie is up the inside and up into P3. He's going to now try and get up onto Sebas, but Grandad Steve's going to still trying to hold it around the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next corner, and this is fantastic racing here. Grandad Steve still there, still letting Ollie know that he's not giving this one up. He tries to squeeze Ollie, and Ollie's looking to look to the inside once again here. Fantastic from these boys. Really vintage racing from these two lads, and it looks like we're still side by side. Ollie has the outside slightly ahead, but Steve has the inside line, and he's going to break a little bit later into the chicane. Steve once again. No, Ollie's going to undercut him, and still these guys side by side. Unbelievable stuff. Into the final corner now. Ollie with the outside line. Steve's going to have a look, trying to keep his nose in there, and Ollie goes very wide there out of the last corner onto the gravel trap, and that's not going to help him at all. He's going to have to be careful when he's redrilling the track. It looks like the Mutts Nuts here and Falguest are going side by side here down the pit straight. Falguest looking to the inside, the Mutts Nuts on the right hand side, Falguest on the left. Who's going to be later on the brakes here coming into turn 1? As we see Ollie there getting passed in the background by Emo Guy, but we're onto the brakes here. It looks like the Mutt's Nuts looking to the outside, trying to hold on to position, but Falguest has got the position, is up into P4, and Ollie now trying to make the position back on Emo Guy, but it looks like he's a little bit too far back to go for the move into turn 2. No, he's not. Emo Guy goes wide. Emo Guy getting all sorts of out of shape there, and Ollie must back up into P6. Fantastic stuff, and it looks like Emo Guy coming under pressure now from Nathan Rutter as well in the battle for P8 and 9. Unbelievable stuff here, Ravi. What a start to this race.
My heart is racing. Racing also what is happening here between Oli man. I'm telling you, this is high level racing. This is high level racing. There's automatic assuming that only GP would take off on the start, and I can see there's a 4.5-second gap between these two. So yeah, OMG is fighting his way for victory, and we see Nathan Rutter squeezing in widely and joins the track in a good fashion.
Yeah, he does indeed. It looked like he managed to rejoin him safely there. But what a start to this race. It's been non-stop action. Had to catch my breath there while you were talking, just to take a break for a moment, because that was non-stop action. I've forgotten just how thrilling these touring cars are to watch. I've just noticed something on the live stream. Unfortunately, we are experiencing a little bit of lag on the stream. I do apologise for this, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you can still enjoy the racing action, but we are unfortunately experiencing just a little bit of breakup on the camera at the moment, which is a shame. But hopefully you guys can still kind of see can make out what's going on, as we see the Mutt's Nuts here having a look to the inside of Ollie. Ollie trying to close the door on him, but Mutts is going to push him out and squeeze into the position. Ollie's still trying to hang around the outside, but Mutts has got the position, and Ollie there being a little bit naughty there, tagging him on the back and having to get on the brakes at the last second. Peanut's going to pick up the position ahead of Ollie and move up into P6. It looks like Mutts is still having a look at the back of Falguest. These guys were battling it out. Falguest made the move up the inside of the first corner a couple of laps ago, and he's still trying to fend off the Mutt's Nuts for the time being. Also, Sebas has pulled out a gap to Grandad Stee in the battle for second and third, but this is all about the battle for fourth and fifth at the moment. Can Grandad Stee can Grandad Stee fend off these guys who are chasing him down? Grandad Stee currently sat in the final podium spot. Falguest and the Mutt's Nuts both lapping a little bit quicker at the moment. Is the Mutt's Nuts going to go for a move coming in towards the chicane? He's going to have a look, but he can't make the move at the moment. He's a little bit too far back to get the position. Does look like Falguest is doing a good job, and we see somebody going off in the background there. Somebody getting way out of shape. Is that Emo Guy? No, it's not. It's Ollie. Yeah, Ollie getting all sorts of wrong coming through that corner. Looks like he's managed to regroup, and he's still sat right on the back here of Mutt's Nuts, ARTL and Emo Guy. And Nathan Rutter obviously dropped off a couple of laps ago of this battle. He's now down in 9th place, and it looks like Mutt's Nuts trying to go late on the brakes there coming into turn 1. Gave Falguest a little bit of a tap on the back. In the background it looks like there's a battle also going on between ARTL, Emo Guy and Ollie. These two are battling over 6th place at the moment. Looks like Emo Guy for the time being managing to hold Ollie off. He's also trying to get past ARTL if he can. Lock up there from ARTL coming through turn 3, but for the time being it is as you were between these guys. And it looks like Ollie's still trying to find a way past Emo Guy. If he can, he's going to go very late on the brakes. That is Ollie's favourite passing spot tonight. It looks like Emo Guy trying to undercut him here, trying to stick with it if he can. Ollie's going to have the inside for the next corner though, and surely going to have the position if he gets his braking point right. As long as he gets turned in for the apex, he does indeed. And that is Olimar up into 7th place, just ahead of Emo Guy. But Emo Guy's going to give it everything he can to fight back and get himself in that position. Still the Mutt's Nuts, Falguest and ARTL battling over 4th place though, as we talk about that one. As they come up towards the chicane, it does look like we got Fal trying to get into this if he can. The Mutt's Nuts doing an excellent job of holding him off. Though really excellent at the moment. It looks like Fal still trying to hold off ARTL here coming through the last corner. It looks like Ollie's looking everywhere he can, and it possibly 3 wide down his pit straight if Ollie can get himself into the mix. It looks like Fal still managing to hold. It looks like Fal still trying to hold ARTL off here as they come up towards turn 1, hard onto the brakes. It looks like ARTL going a little bit deep, but just about getting it stopped in time. Fal and Ollie are side by side here, and it looks like Ollie in the end backing out of that one. Very, very close racing between these guys. Hair-raising stuff at the moment here in our first ever touring car race here at Motive Racing. It's been non-stop action tonight. ARTL here, you can see still sat in P5. He's got side by side behind him though. Ollie gets past, and looks like Ollie going for another dive up the inside. That is, Ollie Morris is an absolute specialist around that turn. Every single time we go to that corner, it's Ollie making the move up the inside. He is making that work. He's making that hairpin his main target spot, isn't he? Really, that's he's just sat on that roof sniping every time.
That's going to see a
Yeah, man.
signature.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be Ollie's, all of Ollie's fans. It's going to be sold out with Ollie Marr fans next season. I'm absolutely sure if we race here next season in the touring cars, as we see here, it looks like Emo Guy getting a little bit deep into the chicane, and now Nathan's going to have a look to the inside, and these guys are also going to have to be wary because they have got Falgas just in front of them. Looks like Nathan manages to avoid both of them and get ahead of Emo Guy. He's now going to slot into the slipstream here of Falgas coming down the pit straight. Falgas doing a good job of keeping him behind him, and in the foreground you've got the Mutts Nuts, Ollie and ARTL also battling over 4th place. Falgas at the moment with 7th place. Looks like Emo Guy looking to the inside, back to trying to make the move back on Nathan. The McGann looks like he's given the BMW a little bit of a tap coming into turn 1, but ultimately it looks like there's nothing doing it. Emo Guy's got off. Emo Guy's off onto the grass on the exit of turn 1. Not sure what happened there, but he's lost lots and lots of time. He's now falling back into the clutches here of Smoky Devil. Not quite sure what was going on there, but he's lost lots and lots of time in that exchange. And in the meantime, it looks like Falgas is still trying to give some kind of pressure to Nathan Rutter if he can. He's still got he's got Smithy, who's been creeping into contention. Smithy had a very difficult start to this race, but he has managed to recover it ever so slightly, and he's got himself up into 9th place, right behind these guys. I'm sure that he'll be targeting at least a 4th place finish. He's only 4 seconds behind Ollie in 4th at the moment. So Smithy could be a bit of damage limitation in this one. Obviously had the pace to finish at the front. We saw his qualifying time was absolutely blistering, but nevertheless, it'd be a good performance from Smithy if he can get himself in a good points paying position in this race. Oh.
Let's talk about no, because you see that Grand still is up to the 2nd place, and
Sebastefano,
Seb Stefano is in 6th place.
what's happened there?
That looks like yeah,
Sebastefano last time around, he lost 10 seconds.
that's correct.
Unbelievable.
Stefano.
Yeah, 142 last time around for Stefano Senior. Looks like he is all over the back here of Peanut, but he's got Nathan looking to the inside. Nathan then tries to turn in on him, and Sebas eases him out just a little bit. And we've got a collision there. Ollie and Peanut come together. Oh no, we've got a yellow flag here. Peanut is off the track and trying to rejoin. He waits very sensibly for the rest of the pack to come round. Very courteous driving there from Peanut, our setup connoisseur here at Motive Racing. That is a real shame for those two. Obviously they do work together. They are teammates. They converse regularly throughout the week, and it's unfortunate to see that Ollie and Peanut coming together there. Looks like Ollie in the end coming off far better in that than Peanut. Peanut bearing the brunt of an unfortunate incident between those two guys. It does look like we're still watching a battle here between Falgast, Sebas and Nathan, and these guys coming out of the chicane now, and we're coming up towards the last turn. It looks like at the moment we've got Falgast still trying to fend off Nathan here. Into turn 1 anyway, we've got Sebas still holding him off, and it looks like Nathan's got a little bit late on the brakes, a little bit deep into turn 1, manages to get it stopped in time, but Sebas still managing to hold him off, and Smithy up into P4 while we watch all that happening. Smithy now with a great chance of finishing on a podium, which we would not have expected earlier on in the race. Obviously with the start that he had and the trials and tribulations that have happened so far, it would be a phenomenal achievement if he can get himself up into the top 3. Ravi, I think you might be breathing on your mic, mate, because I can hear a little bit of feedback. Sorry, bud. Are you not? Are you not? Are you not audible? Oh man. Alright, one sec. I'm sure they are, but let me have a look. Yeah, always allow.
Yeah, we should as well. As Smithy takes up the fourth place.
Looks like the ODG's had a horrible lap last time around. He's lost 7 seconds to Smithy, so it looks like it's going to be a little too late. I wonder if Grendan Stee is going to be able to catch up to the G. Obviously, G having a difficult lap last time around, losing a lot of time to Stee, and I wonder if maybe his tyres are starting to go off. Obviously, G, holder of 22 world records on Project Cars 2 on the PlayStation 4 platform in the V8 Supercars, so he's got an unbelievable amount of pace, which he's always willing to show, and he's showing it once again tonight. Pole position in the qualifying session. He's currently sat P1, and surely with this race at his mercy, as he comes once again out of the chicane and into the last corner. We've got 2 laps left to go here in the sprint race at Nuburgring Sprint Course tonight for Motive Racing's Touring Car Championship, the opening round, the first ever round in this championship, as we see Steve coming over the line. So 2 to go, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like Smithy's been passed by the Mutsnuts and Sarah Stefano once again, so Smithy's not going to have this podium spot easy, and it looks like we've actually got some penalties to talk about here. So Grandad Steve without a penalty. Looks like the Mutsnuts, Service and Smithy all with penalties, but the Mutsnuts bearing the brunt of that with a 5-second penalty. Then you got Sebas with the 3-second penalty. Smithy with only a 1-second penalty. All Smithy needs to do is just finish with these guys, and he will take the final podium spot. Nathan Rutter also sporting a 1-second penalty. Falgues with an 11-second penalty. Incredible. We've also got Ollie with a 3-second penalty. Emo Guy with 7 seconds. Smoky Devil on 8. We've got ALTEL on 4 seconds. Might have Peanut doing an excellent job tonight with regards to track limits. He's got absolutely no penalties to speak of whatsoever. DJ Phil following the rules very nicely. He's got a 1-second penalty to talk of. And Mr. Rogie with 10 seconds. So that is the state of play. Lots and lots of track limits being exploited tonight. As we see here, still got these guys battling here over 3rd place. Sebas, the Mutsnut, Smithy and Nathan Rutter. And we've got to remember here that Nathan and Smithy are both sporting 1-second penalties, so these guys are technically in the same race here. As we see Nathan looking to the inside, Smithy trying to get around the Mutsnuts if he can, but Mutsnuts not having any of it into the last turn. We have got 1 more lap left to go here in the sprint race, and we're currently seeing these guys going side by side down the pit straight. It looks like Smithy to the inside here of the Mutsnuts. The Mutsnuts going to leave the door open. Nathan's going to get around the Mutsnuts. He's going to want to chase Smithy if he wants any chance of taking a podium here in this one. It looks like Nathan a little bit late on the brakes. Bit of a lock up there, missing the braking point and going up very wide. Looks like that's allowed Ollie up into P6, and Falgues now all over the back of him. But Smithy still managing to hold off the Mutsnuts at the moment. These guys are about a 1.5 seconds behind Sebas. Looks like Sebas has got a podium in the bag despite making a mistake earlier on in the race. He might be in with a chance of putting away from this pack, but I'm sure Smithy is not going to want to let that happen here. Just half a lap left to go here at the Nürburgring sprint course. Smithy, bit of a lock up as he tries to fend off this chasing pack, and he's not going to want to let Sebas get away. And we see Nathan there going onto the grass and having to let everybody through there as he rejoined the track. Looks like he has got it pointing in the right direction though, and we're currently watching here Smithy. He's got a 1.8 second gap. 1.6 second gap. As we see Ollie getting a little bit loose there onto the curb and onto the gravel a little bit. It looks like he's been passed by everybody there. Falguest and Nathan just swerving out of the way to avoid him. Where's our race leader? Let's get some eyes on the Only G and see whereabouts he is at the moment. The Only G is exiting the last corner now, and he's going to take the victory in our inaugural touring car race here at Motive Racing at the Nuburgring. Fantastic job from the Only G. The Grandad Steed's going to come around in P2. Looks like G just about managed to put a lap there on Mr. Rogie at the end. Grandad Steed comes over in P2. We've got Sebas completing the podium ahead of Smithy. Is Smithy going to get him on penalties though? It does look like he does, yes. So Sebas in the end with a 5-second penalty loses the spot to Smithy. Looks like the Nuts comes over in 5th. We've got Falguest just ahead of Emo Guy. Great battle from those guys. It looks like Fal in the end is Ollie up into P8 with Emo Guy's penalty. Smoky Devil round to complete the top 10. ALTEL came off worse in that collision with Ollie earlier on, which was incredible shame. Those guys were having a good battle up until that point. It looks like Mudder Peanut's going to come round in 12th. We've got DJ Phil in 13th position. Mr. Rogie a lap down at the end there. DJ Phil coming round the final part of the lap in the BMW. Some great driving on show tonight. Some fantastic action here on the Motive Racing channel. And what a race from these guys. The Only G, they're taking a well-deserved win. We know from the practice sessions leading up to this race that he was going to be quick and that he meant business. And our multiple world record holder in the V8 Supercars once again showing why he is what sort of a caliber of driver he is. Great to see on show tonight. DJ Phil coming around to complete the classification, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for the qualifying session for the feature race coming up in 5 minutes time. We'll see you guys in a bit, and catch you in a moment. Testing, testing.
Discord maybe or something?
Yeah, but then it's out of sync. Yeah, mine's working because I just heard, because I know I said testing a couple of seconds after you.
Yeah.
It's just my one's just come through, so mine's working. Oh man, I don't know. We can try Discord. It's out of sync though.
Yeah.
unless, no, 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 unless, no, no, unless, no, no, unless we commentate on my stream. Right, so we get on my private stream and we commentate on that.
Mine's working because I just heard, because I know I said
That'll
that
work.
a couple of seconds after you.
If we do that,
It's just my one's just
but the thing is, like the camera angles, you're gonna have to be out of sync with the camera angles, so you're gonna have to be doing the camera angles whilst commentating on this on my private stream.
Oh,
Because it's going through two streams. Do you get me?
yeah, I know what you mean now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There will be a massive delay of
Yeah, there'll be a no, no, not 1.5. It'll be like about 7 or 8 seconds, maybe more. That's the problem. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what we could do is we could both be watching my private stream because that will be in sync in that case. If we watch my private stream and react to it on that.
that is also, yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right,
That's a possibility.
cool. All right, let's do that then. All right, let me send you the link to my private stream.
You're going to have to be out of
Okay.
sync with the camera angles, so you're going to have to be doing the camera angles whilst commentating on my private stream. Because it's going through two streams. Do you get me? Yeah, there'll be a no, no, not 1.5. It'll be like about 7 or 8 seconds, maybe more. That's the problem. Yeah,
All right,
that's what I'm saying.
there we
So
go.
what we could do is
So
we could both be watching
use that to
my private
commentate,
stream,
but then
because that
also
will be
keep
in
track
sync.
of what's going on, on the track and stuff.
If we watch my private stream and react to
That's what
it
we'll have to do.
on that.
But that should work.
Alright,
All right,
cool.
cool.
Alright, let's do that then.
Oh, and I should stop talking because they're picking us up on the stream.
Testing. DJ Phil. Corner. My dad peanut now we start finish.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Motive Racing channel for the feature race qualifying session tonight here live from the Nuburgring sprint course. And we've got My Dad Peanut currently sat top of the leaderboard, the top 5 from the sprint race, unable to qualify for this one. So it throws an extra element into it and means that the guys who finished in mid-pack or that were unlucky in the sprint race end up with a great chance of stealing the march on the other guys who finished higher up towards the top of the order. As we see there, the Mutts Nuts comes over the line to go P1 in the background there behind Rob. So Mutts Nuts there doing a fantastic job. Looks like we've got a couple of guys coming over the line to complete their flying laps. Looks like Mr. Rogie goes 5th, 2.8 seconds off for the pace being set by the Mutts Nuts at the moment. Looks like he's got somebody right behind him. And DJ Phil currently sat 6th in this session, so good showing so far from DJ Phil. We've got 14 guys out on the track. 5 of those guys sat in the pits, unable to do a qualifying time. Those include Grandad Steve, Seba Stefano, Smithy, the only G, and Smokey Devil, the top 5 from the sprint race. So it should be a very interesting qualifying session with that particular rule set in stone. Guys, I'm very, very happy to introduce Ravi, who was unfortunately inaudible in the sprint race, but Ravi, I believe, fingers crossed, touch wood, you should be audible now.
Yes, that's correct. I am audible, I believe. As you are watching Fall Guest out of the last corner.
Yeah, here we go. We're looking at Falgester coming into turn one. Looks like he's still yet to set a lap time. He's able to do a lap. He had a difficult sprint race. Was battling for a lot of it with Ollie and also with Emo Guy and Nathan Rutter throughout the race. We saw him and Smithy as well. So Falgas had a bit of a difficult one. Ended up finishing, I think, around 8th or 9th position. It was quite a turbulent ride for him throughout the duration of it. So I'm sure he'll be looking to start at the sharp end for this one and steal a little bit of an advantage on the guys who finished towards the front in the previous race. He's going to have his work cut out to get pole though. He's got guys like the Nuts and ALTEL has just gone P2. Peanut putting it within 0.2 of a second of our provisional pole sitter. So that's a very, very handy lap time indeed there from ALTEL. Really, really setting a benchmark at the moment. Might have Peanut. Looks like he's pitted from 3rd position. We've also got, hold on. Yeah, we're just, sorry about that. We're currently watching Falgest here coming into the final turn. Let's see if Falgest can go even, can get himself up ahead of these guys in the mid pack at the moment. Here he comes, and that's a very, very nice lap time there from him. He goes 4th fastest, 0.7 of a second off a pole of 1 minute 32.7. He'll get one more chance to go a little bit quicker here, but there'll only be one more chance. He did cross over the line with just under 1.5 minutes left to go, so he won't be able to get around to do 2 more laps here. Smoky Devil coming into the last turn now, managed to have a good finish in the sprint race. Let's see if he can keep that sort of form up as he comes up towards the line here. It looks like Smoky Devil can't go too quickly at the moment, still stays P10. Got ALTEL here sat at P2 at the moment, 0.2 of a second off of the pole time. We saw ALTEL have a difficult sprint race. He was in a battle for, I think, 4th, 5th and 6th, and he ended up having a bit of a tussle with Ollie Marr, which resulted in him coming off considerably worse than Ollie and ending up having to let pretty much the whole field pass as he was facing the wrong way off the track, and Peanut had to wait absolutely ages. It was agonising to watch here. I wouldn't be able to bear it myself being in that position. I understand its pain, but it looks like he's going to get a chance to do this lap and possibly another one after it as he comes into the last turn. Let's see if Peanut can get round in time to do another one. I don't think this is going to be a personal best. He's a little bit down on his split times. Let's see what this is. Yeah, he's a little bit down, 0.8 of a second off of his personal best. He will get one more chance to do a lap time here. Where's Falgest at the moment? As we see Ollie here coming through the last couple of turns. Let's keep an eye on the split times at the top. It looks like Falgest went a little bit faster, but unable to move it up into P4. 0.004 of a second off of Might Have Peanut in 4th place. Let's see what Ollie can do. Currently sat P3, 0.3 off pole. And Ollie goes fastest. Fantastic job there. Right at the end of the session, Ollie Marr puts it on the top spot. So now it's down to the Nuts, ALTEL, Might Have Peanut. See if these guys can do anything in the final knockings of this session. We got the Nuts currently coming through the middle sector. ALTEL is in the 1st sector. I'm not sure whereabouts Might Have Peanut is out on the track. We'll hopefully be able to see where he is. He looks like he's just behind Nuts on track. So Nuts is going to be the next man over the line here to complete his flying lap. Might Have Peanut we're seeing here. We're seeing Nathan Rutter coming up and over the line now, and he can't improve. Nathan Rutter stays P6 for the time being. I'm not sure if he was already P6 actually, but we're currently riding with My Dad Peanut, who had a very, very difficult race in the sprint race. Picked up a drive-through for a jump start at the beginning. We thought he had made an amazing start on the stream, but unfortunately it was a jump start as we come through out of the last chicane and up towards the last turn. Let's see what Rob can do here as he throws it into the last corner. That BMW is absolutely on the limit, just about racking it on the edge of what he can do here and up and over the line. What is Rob capable of doing here? He's moved himself up into a P3. Very nice job there from Rob. Keeping an eye on those guys in the background. It looks like ALTEL stays P4, so that is going to be that for the session in the end. The Nuts couldn't improve. So, oh no, he did. The Nuts did improve. Move up to P2. Great stuff there from him within 0.4 of a second of Ollie. So Ollie starts on pole, the Nuts and Might Have Peanut with ALTEL, Falgest, and Nathan Rutter behind those guys. Then we got Emo Guy, Rogie, DJ Phil, and Smoky Devil completing the top 10. And obviously the top 5 from the sprint race unable to qualify for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be an absolutely fantastic feature race. The first feature race of Motive Racing's Touring Car Championship should be an absolutely excellent one. And if the sprint race is anything to go by, Ravi, then this is going to be an absolute cracker.
We already see Oli G away in the back with Smitty and Seb Stefano. Let's see what will happen in the chaos of the first corner. I am very excited as Oli is in a quite good position here for a good start the first lap. I hope he can avoid the chaos that is, yeah, um, at least if he can make a good start. If he can make a good start, everything should be all right. If
Fingers
not,
crossed.
I fear for the worst for Oli. Yeah.
Yeah, fingers crossed he can avoid the trouble that we occasionally see here. Not regularly, but occasionally it does happen every now and again. It looks like we're moments away here from the start of the race. Less than a minute to go until lights out for the feature race. Let us know in the comments who your money's on. Mr. Rogi saying, is this a mandatory pit? Yes, it is, Mr. Rogi. You do need to pit at least once at some point during the race. It doesn't matter when, but you do need to come in and you need to stop and go in the pit box for any amount of time. And that's pretty much the rule here. But we are about to go lights out. Olimar in the end taking pole position with a last minute run there, just at the very end of the session. It was a very impressive run from Ollie, completely out of the blue, just managed to spring something up right at the death of the session. We've got the Mutts Nuts lining up alongside him, Minor Peanut and ARTL just behind those guys. Falgas, Nathan Rutter, Emo Guy, Mr. Rogi, DJ Phil and Smoky Devil. Good to see DJ Phil up there as well in the mid pack. We've got Grandad Steve, Seba Stefano, Smithy, obviously having to start at the back. Looks like we've got somebody lagging out there in the middle of the pack. Looks like that's sorted itself out. Thank goodness for that. And we are moments away here from the start. Olimar, what can he do off of the line here? Is he going to defend his position coming into turn one? We're almost lights out and we are underway. And it looks like a so-so start from the pole position there for Ollie. He's been jumped already by Mighty Peanut and the Mutts Nuts. Hopefully Mighty Peanut didn't shut up the start this time around as we come up towards turn one. It looks like the Mutts Nuts looking to the inside here of Mighty Peanut, but Mighty Peanut's too far ahead here coming into turn one. Onto the brakes, Mighty Peanut with the lead. It looks like Ollie's trying to fight back here coming up towards turn one, round the outside, but Mighty Peanut looks like he's got the lead. The Mutts Nuts holding on for P2 here coming through turn two. Looks like we've got Nathan having a look at Ollie. We've got Falgast in P5. Yamago just behind these guys. ARTL, Mr. Rogi, and Smoky Devil just behind those guys. But Mighty Peanut getting this perfect start that he needed to get in this race. We're starting P3, and he's made the perfect start out of the gates here. But it definitely looks like the Mutts Nuts is going to try and pressure him if he can. But Olimar looking to the inside here, and Ollie's favourite passing spot once again, proving why that is his favourite passing spot. Moving up into P2. Looks like Falgas has got around the Mutts Nuts as well. And the Mutts Nuts has got a penalty by the looks of it. He must have had a slowdown warning from the race director because he's just lost about 4 places there. Falgas, Nathan, Rutter, Emo Guy, and ARTL all moving up a position there. But still watching My Dad Peanut as he's coming under pressure now from Olimar. Looks like Falgas and Nathan are also battling it out for P3 and 4 here as well. You see Nathan?
Yeah, this is middle of the night. I think what I've seen on the other platform that the BMWs are a slight better choice here on the night.
Yeah, they definitely. But I think they've got the much better straight line speed, which helps a lot coming down the pit straight, but also down that valley section coming towards the last chicane. I think in the middle part of the lap, the first and the middle part of the lap, the Renault Megane definitely does have an advantage. But it's one of those tracks where it is more even than most. Most tracks on the calendar, I think, are going to be very favourable towards the Renault. But this is one of those where it is a little bit of a what am I trying to say, leveler. Definitely levels the playing field between the two. Seeing here Nathan losing a little bit of time to Falgas that time around, and still Ollie trying to hassle My Dad Peanut, who made that fantastic start off the line. Ollie looking very, very feisty. He's going into his favourite passing spot, but there's no way around My Dad Peanut for the time being. As I say that, looks like My Dad Peanut a little bit shaky on the exit. Ollie's going to have a look to the outside, but My Dad Peanut with the inside for the next corner, and once again fighting back on the inside. BMW versus Megane, and My Dad Peanut holding on to the lead, but that looked very, very close there for me, Ravi.
Yeah, definitely. We keep an eye on Olimar because this is one of his favorite tracks, I reckon, because he has some good moves in those corners.
Yeah, he definitely does, and we've seen him in the past go for moves like that. We saw him coming into his favourite passing spot, the place where he made about 3 or 4 moves up the inside of various drivers in the sprint race, and once again, looked like he'd got it on the exit in this one. As we see somebody into the pits, so it looks like that's Nathan Rutter there coming in for his mandatory pit stop. I remind you guys, there is a mandatory pit stop in this race, so all of these guys have got to bring it in at least once at some point, and that is the rule currently. No tyre change or anything like that. It's just a simple stop and go in the pit box, and boom, job done. So we're currently seeing the only G closing in on the back of ARTL. Only G starting at the back, obviously won the sprint race, and he's looking to pick up where he left off in that one. Has made the perfect start to the Touring Car Championship here at Motive Racing. He's right behind ARTL here in the battle for 6th and 7th. ARTL had a difficult sprint race, ended up making a collision with Ollie, who's currently sat P2 in this race. So ARTL will be looking to, I think, build on what was a difficult race. He lost a few points, definitely could have been further up towards the front of the classification in that one. And we're seeing here G's definitely making inroads on him. Bit of a lock up there from Peanut as he came into Ollie's favourite passing spot, and definitely looks like G is still piling the pressure on these guys. Just a couple of seconds behind Smoky Devil. These guys definitely look like they're closing on him, but Peanut's going to be mainly focused on the man behind him, who is G, and G is looking ever closer here, having a little look, trying to get in his head, trying to distract him in the mirrors if he can. But Peanut, I'm sure, is not going to be fazed by that at all. To come up the hill towards the chicane. Is G going to go for a move up the inside? We know he's been ridiculously quick through this corner in practice, and doesn't look like he's going to be tempted into a move as we see him getting a nice exit and having a look to the inside. No, it looks like G is going to opt for the undercut here and bring it into the pits. But in the meantime, we've got a battle here between Falguest and Olimar. It looks like Falguest has the inside. Olimar losing a little bit of time to our race leader, Might Have Peanut, on that lap. It looks like Falguest is up the inside coming into turn one. Can he outbrake Ollie? Ollie going a little bit late on the brakes, get us a little bit loose on the curb, and has to slam the brakes on to avoid some kind of accident there on the white lines of the outside of the circuit. It looks like he's kept it together and is having a look to the outside of Falguest, but Falguest is going to just run him out of road and not allow any route around. Looks like Falguest there, very wily defensive driving and managing to hold on just about ahead of Olimar. But Ollie's definitely looking to try and fight back in this one. He's not going to be happy about having the manners put on him. And as you see there, he runs into the back there of Falguest. We know Ollie has had some late-breaking exploits over the course of this event so far, coming through that corner and once again trying it, but no way around Falguest. Falguest parking his car in all the right places and not allowing any particular way around him. Very, very sensible driving there. As we see in the background, we got the Nuts going a little bit, no, that's Ollie going a bit wide there, sorry, out onto the gravel, and might find himself open to an attack from Nuts, who is closing now in 4th position. And we've got side by side in the background as well. It looks like we've got Smokey and ARTL as we come up towards the chicane. It looks like Smokey's up the inside here of Peanut. Peanut losing a position, and Smokey was a little bit wide on the exit of the chicane. And now Peanut's going to look to the left hand side here, up the inside, coming into the last corner. Has Peanut got the position? It looks like he has, up the inside and up into 5th place here. Great stuff there from ARTL, responding fantastically well as we see Ollie into the pits for his mandatory pit stop. But we're going to stick with this battle down the pit straight, see if Smokey can come back at Peanut coming into turn one. It looks like he's a little bit too far back to go for the move just this time around. Just going to sit back and bide his time. He knows he's got plenty more time in this race to come back at him, but still a long way to go here in this feature race. 5 laps in, 20 laps altogether, 15 laps left to go here at the Nuburgring. Guys, if you like what you see, then be sure to join us on our Discord server here at Motive Racing and subscribe if you like this video, and be sure to like this video as well, as it really helps us a lot. Lets us know what we're doing right, what we're not doing so well. Let us know in the comments what you enjoy about us, enjoy what we're doing here. As we're currently seeing Smokey, looks like he's actually pulling away a little bit on ARTL at the moment. And we're also flicking to the... Sorry, mate.
Definitely, yes. My dead Peanut made a small mistake. We saw Falguest took the position, and we are seeing my dad fighting back for that position. So the fight is on for the first place.
Yeah, we're side by side, and it looks like Might Have Peanut breaking a little bit later into the chicane and managing to get it stopped in time. Great stuff there, but Falguest getting a nicer exit, and we're once again side by side. Ollie, no, sorry, the Nuts even just watching this unfolding in front of him. Looks like Might Have Peanut trying to hold it around the outside. Falguest has the inside, but Might Have Peanut with the better exit, and he's going to have the straight line speed advantage coming down the pit straight in the BMW. Falguest is going to start into the slipstream and try and fight back here, coming down over the line to complete lap 5 of this race. It looks like Might Have Peanut going very defensive coming into turn 1, and it looks like Falguest late on the brakes, the Nuts having to avoid running into the back of Falguest there, as well as keeping his line and keeping his braking point intact. We see here Mida Peanut just managing to just about keep onto the position here, but he's got two very angry Megans in his rearview mirrors now, as we see Nuts up the inside of Falguest and up into P2, and it looks like Mida Peanut with a little bit of a shaky exit coming out of that turn, and now Nuts is going to have a chance here to the inside. Is he going to go for a move? It looks like he's thought about it, but in the end, thought better of it. Mida Peanut very late on the brakes though, and that is going to allow him to go a little bit wide. And Nuts into P1, although he has got a penalty from the race director. I'm not quite sure what the nature of that penalty is, but he has picked up a penalty at some point in the opening stages of this race. Still Mida Peanut trying to fight back. Gets a little bit loose onto the curb. He's just about keeping it together though, as they come out onto the into the valley, and it looks like Mida Peanut riding the inside there, just about managing to keep it from running into the back of Nuts here. Nuts going defensive coming into the chicane, and no way around him at the moment. Nuts holding onto the position. Goes a little bit wide onto the curb coming through the chicane though, which is going to allow Mida Peanut to try and fight back here. He has the outside. He's going to try and drive around Nuts, but there's going to be no way around him in that particular instance. Still, though, Mida Peanut not giving up. What fantastic driving, persistent driving here from Mida Peanut, and we're watching on board from Falguest as we see him looking to the inside. He's thought about that for a moment and thought, no, I'm not going to go for that one. That's probably not the most sensible move in the world. And we see here Nuts trying to force Mida Peanut out. It looks like he drives him out of the road there, and in the end bullies him off the road. It's which he's entitled to do, to be fair. He was ahead, and he did have the inside line, and Mida Peanut nowhere to go. Looks like Mida Peanut doing the same thing to Falguest there to try and stop him from driving clean around the outside of turn 2. So Nuts here holding on to the lead. We saw him passing both of these guys a couple of laps ago, and he's managing to keep ahead. But Mida Peanut now trying to fend off a hard-charging Falguest here in the Megane. Still, though, Mida Peanut doing a great job. And when you consider he's driving the BMW, it's a very difficult car to handle in the middle part of this circuit. It's no mean feat. The job that he's doing down the straights, it's an absolute beast. But in the corners, the BMW touring car here on Project Cars 2 can be a little bit of a handful. So respect to Rob for doing the job that he's doing tonight. Really is it's incredibly impressive, to say the least.
Talking about impressive, let's go with only G. We're in the 7th lap, and he made his mandatory pit stop and is looking in a 6th spot comfortably, and he is making the time good between him and Smokey up front.
Yeah, he
As we see
definitely is.
Not going into the pit stop for his mandatory pit stop now. Oh, yay. This is awesome. He's the first to make the pit stop for the battle in front.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to try and get the undercut. Obviously, G has already been in for his stop, so that's a representation of where he would ideally like to come out. Likewise, Olimar, Sebastefano, Grandad Steve Smithy. In fact, everybody from 6th downwards now has been in. In fact, everyone from 5th downwards even has been into the pits for their mandatory pit stop. That means the top 4, Mida Peanut, Falguest, ARTL, and Smoky Devil, all still need to come in at some point during this race. I'd like to say, while I've got the eyes and ears on stream, I'm sorry for the stream quality we've got on show tonight. I know it is a little bit choppy, and I am genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, very sorry to the viewers that we cannot show you just the beauty of the action that's going on in front of us. It's some incredible racing, and I'm sure you can get the gist of what's going on, but not in the type of quality that we are used to here at Motive Racing. I'd like to just address everybody and let you know that this is not going to be how it's going to be tomorrow night for the GTEs. We're going to get this sorted out and figure out what's going on here for this one. But anyway, now we've got that out of the way, back to the action here on the track. It looks like G is still holding off Olimar. Both of these guys have been into the pits for their mandatory pit stops for this race. And G doing an excellent job tonight. Also doing a lot of things behind the scenes here at Motive Racing. Is one of our admins as well. In fact, one of the founding members alongside myself. Great to have him out on the track. Multiple world record holder here on Project Cars 2 as well. And he obviously took the sprint race victory and currently looking very good for this one if he can stay ahead of Olimar once these guys come in. And indeed, that is what they're doing. Mida Peanut, Falguest, and ARTL all coming in. Smoky Devil inherits the lead of the race. So G's going to come round with Ollie, and these two are going to be at the head of the field. Ollie not giving this one up, sticking to the back of G. Falguest, Mida Peanut, and ARTL look like they're going to all be jumped by these two guys. Here they come to assume what's going to be a net first and second, but second and third actually on the track at the moment. And you see there in the background, Mida Peanut just coming to the end of the pit lane now. He's been passed by Sebastefano. Looks like Falgas not going to get past. No, Falgas. Yep, Falgas has been jumped by the Mutts Nuts, but Mida Peanut splits those two guys. So they're coming out in the thick of a battle here. But it is currently 7 seconds separates the gap. In fact, you know what? Let's just go with 15 seconds separates 10 drivers at the moment. But there's also not really much wriggle room at the moment. These guys are very, very tightly bunched up. And as they start battling, I think that it's only going to come down.
Yep.
As we are currently watching the only G here, leader of this this train. It looks like he's actually pulled out a little bit of a gap to Ollie Marr this time around. Ollie would have been very intent on keeping G within his slipstream and within his sights, but he has lost a little bit of time so far on this lap. G now just trying to up the tempo, I think, and try and put some gaps here before his tyres start to go off. It's now or never, really. This is the crucial phase of the race where he wants to try and build his lead and try and make that gap, try and get the march on the rest of these guys. He's doing an excellent job out the front, comes over the line with a 2-second gap here to Ollie Marr. Last time around, G in the 1:31s, Ollie with an absolute mare. He stood at 1:36. He's got a massive penalty on that lap as well. Looks like Ollie is starting to lose a little bit of time to our net race leader. Obviously, guys, if you're just joining us, Smoky Devil, currently sat P1, is still yet to come in for his mandatory pit stop. So when he does, G, Ollie, Sebastefano will inherit the top 3 positions, and it'll be the Mutts Nuts. And it's going to be interesting to see if Smoky Devil does come out ahead of those guys once he comes in. He'll probably come out somewhere around Falgast, Mida Peanut, and Grandad's D. Not absolutely certain yet. We'll have to obviously wait and see what happens when he does come in. But that's what we were expecting anyway at this point. But regardless.
We saw a bit of the timings, and there are penalties. Smoky Devil got 5-second penalty. Olimar got 7 seconds penalty. Sebastian 1 second penalty. Mutnut 4-second penalty. Falgast 6. Maida Peanut 2. Granddad T 5. Ayatel 1. Smithy 3. Nathan 6. Imobe 10. McCroy nothing, and DJ Phil clean.
Yeah.
So that is going to be an issue later on with Olimar. 7 seconds. So we have to see how that will play on.
Absolutely. The only man who's kept himself, the only two kept themselves out of trouble today are the only G and Mr. Rogi. G, class of the field tonight. Said in the practice sessions that we're going to have the track limits on, and that's the right decision to have. I was of the same opinion. If you don't cut the track or you don't go off the track, then you've got nothing to worry about as far as track limit penalties are concerned. And G knows that. He's managed to keep it very much within the confines of the track, keeping it within the white lines, and it's good to see. And last time around, though, Ollie responding a little bit to the pace of G, actually managed to do a lap in the 1:31s. But obviously, with this 7-second penalty, it's going to be incredibly difficult for him to get back into this race with G out front and doing what he has to do. Still, though, Ollie sticking to the task, and admirably, you've got to say here, it's never easy to keep up with G, especially in these touring cars. Some of his best attributes are fully on show tonight, and holder of multiple world records in the V8 supercars here and project cars too, so he knows how to drive these sorts of cars. Something of a specialist here. And we see Smoky Devil is into the pits for his mandatory pit stop, so that is going to release these guys into some clear air. Now we can see what sort of job these guys can do now that they're released into their net race finishing positions here. We're looking back through the pack, we can see there's a battle developing here between Mida Peanut and Falgast. It looks like they're side by side there in the background. What's going on there? Grandad Stee, is that Grandad Stee? And Mida Peanut, yes it is. Grandad Stee's up into P7. Mida Peanut losing a position there. Had a bit of a mare coming through the chicane. Visibly, you could see there's something going on. There's Smoky Devil, though, in the pit box. It looks like the only G, Ollie Sevas, up into the top 3 positions. Where's Smoky Devil going to emerge? Is he going to proved to be a bit of a spanner in the works for these guys coming down the pit straight. Here's Smithy looking to the outside here of Peanut, can't find a way around him for the time being. Still Peanut trying to, sorry, that's Smithy up the inside there of Peanut, sorry, I do apologise. And Peanut slotting in there. We can see Smithy last time around doing a 1 minute 37, so I think picking up some penalties last time around was our GTE champion here at Motive Racing. Smithy obviously, as I just said, took the GTE crown last season for season 2 of Motive Racing's Project Cars 2 leagues, and also is very prominent in our Clio Cups as well. He's pretty quick across the board in everything that he attempts. So the touring cars are no exception to that. We're second in our sprint race qualifying session, but has had a difficult evening since then. Smokey now trying to fend off Nathan Rushby if he can. It looks like Nathan's going to look to the inside, but it's side by side here coming through the valley, and it looks like Smokey going to give Nathan the room there on the inside. They're side by side coming into the chicane. It looks like we've got Evo Guy waiting in the wings behind them as we see Nathan managing to hold it around the outside there and moving up into P10. Smokey now going to find himself under pressure here from Evo Guy coming up towards the final turn. Looks like Evo Guy has a little look to the inside. It's too far back to go for a dive up the inside. At the moment, it's as you were in the battle for 10th, 11th and 12th. Nathan, Smokey and Evo looking very, very close here. And what's happening with Falgast? It looks like there's a little bit of a contact there between Falgast and the Mutts Nuts. Looks like Mutts Nuts is up the inside here of turn 2. Falgast is going to try and hang it out if he can and try and stick with the battle. But it looks like he's going to try and look for some grip here on the outside of the track and try and put alongside him if he can. But it looks like Mutts Nuts has managed to take the shorter radius around that corner and ultimately picking up the position. Mutts Nuts up into P4. Falgast down to P5. Granasty watching this and hoping to get involved in this action if these two trip over each other or slow each other down. You can see he is all over the back of Falgast now. And Maidab Peanut also looking to possibly feast on the remains of this this interesting little scrap here. Looks like Fal is really struggling to keep Granasty behind him now, coming out towards the valley section. You can see these guys being very, very tentative of that curve on the left-hand side. They all know what it does now. If you get too much onto that, it will shoot you off into the gravel and you can end up in the barriers. That's never a good sign here at the Nuburgring, as we see. Looks like Falgast managing to hold on ahead of Granasty coming into the chicane. He's still also got the Mutts Nuts ahead of him, which would have helped him as well because he'd had the slipstream from Mutts Nuts, which helps him defend here from Granasty, who is really, really hassling him now as he come out onto the pit straight to complete lap 13 of this race. 7 laps left to go here for the MRTCC round 1 feature race here at the Nuburgring Sprint Course. We're currently seeing Maidab Peanut riding on board with him as we watch the battle going up ahead of him. It looks like it looks like Foul getting sideways there coming into the turn 1. Don't know how he managed to hang on to that. Somehow managing to stay ahead here of Steve. Steve getting a little bit sideways coming through turn 2. Maidab Peanut, we are watching it all from the perspective of Rob as he tries to take advantage of the action that you see going on in front of you. You can see the Mutts Nuts pulling away from this in the distance there, putting about a second between himself and Falgast. And Falgast has gone very, very wide, and Granasty's up the inside and up into 5th place there. Falgast getting way offline, losing the position there to Granasty, which is possibly going to give Granasty the opportunity to now chase down the Mutts Nuts in the battle for 4th. These guys now well behind the battle for the podium, which is Seba Stefano in 3rd. Ollie looks like he's dropped 3 seconds off of the race leader, the only G, who has been completely dominant in this feature race, like the sprint race here, and started at the back. It's doubly as impressive. As we see Granasty going straight on over the chicane, and Falgast getting out of shape. Maidab Peanut is up the inside and up into 7th place. Granasty getting a slowdown penalty there and slowing down right in front of Maidab Peanut. That would have distracted him massively there as he come out of the last corner. Looks like Maidab Peanut slots into a slipstream here of Granasty coming over the line to start lap 15 of this race. Is he going to get enough of a run here to try and make a move coming into turn 1? It looks like he might be a little bit too far back to go for the lunge, but it does look like Maidab Peanut trying to fend off Falgast, and Falgast is going to go for the undercut and try and go up the inside. It looks like Falgast, what a move there from Falgast, gains almost 2 positions there, but I think Granasty is going to just about hold him on the inside there. Maidab Peanut trying to fight back here as well. What a great battle between all three of these guys. Falguest is going to still try and stick with it if he can, but has to back out of that in the end. They're 3 wide coming through turn 4. Unbelievable stuff.
Look who joined the battle.
Oh my goodness me, and now we got Smithy getting involved in this as well. Incredible scenes. And now it looks like, oh my goodness me, it's unbelievable racing here. Mida Peanut in the BMW, sticking it in the middle of these McGanns and doing a great job of it, but can't find a way past Granite Steer. It looks like Fowler's got a little bit loose there coming out onto this valley section, and now Smithy's going to look to the inside. They're side by side here. Is Smithy going to be able to hold it on the curb? It's not easy at high speed, but it looks like he's managed to ride it very nicely indeed. But for the time being, Falguest holding it on the inside. He's going to have to be careful on the brakes because he has got the slipstream of the guys ahead, and he is very, very intelligent driving there from Falguest. Knew that his straight line speed would be a little bit more than expected, and obviously getting the car stopped in time, not running into Smithy. These guys keeping themselves in check and marshalling themselves to the best of their abilities. Looks like Granite Steer managing to hold on for P5 in that particular exchange, but we don't know what's going to be happening next time around. The next lap around, it could be a completely different order between these guys. These constant chopping and changing here in these touring cars. Some of the best action on Project Cars 2, with some of the best touring car drivers on the PlayStation 4 platform. We're absolutely honoured and privileged to have these guys repping us out on track here at Motive Racing and giving us the best possible show tonight. Really, really are thankful to every single one of these lads out on track for giving us the action that we always like to showcase to the world. As we see here, it looks like Smithy looking to the inside here of Mida Peanut, and Mida Peanut leaves him the space, and Smithy is up into P6. Once again, a race of mixed fortunes for Smithy. He's had to do it the hard way like he did in the sprint race. It's been a difficult evening for him. He's had so much pace throughout the course of tonight, but ultimately it's been about just consistency and bad luck, I think, has really plagued him, which has forced him to pretty much be in the mid-pack by the end of both races. I think he finished, I think he actually managed to finish on the podium in the end in the sprint race, but he could have definitely been first or second, could have fought the race winner for the win in the sprint race, and in this one he could have definitely had the pace. It just hasn't worked out, unfortunately, for Smithy tonight. I'm sure he will be bouncing back as the season progresses, though. Next week, obviously, we'll be going for round 2 of the touring cars, so be sure to join us next Sunday. It'll be every Sunday at 8 p.m. BST, that's UK time. It's definitely all well worth having a look at here. So much action live on the Motive Racing channel. We've got a action-packed week coming up, week 2 of season 3 coming up. We've got GTEs on Monday, the Clio Cup on Tuesday night. We've got a couple of days break, Wednesday and Thursday, no racing on those days. Friday night, we've got the GT5 Ginetta Cup. Saturday, we've got the double header, which is the GT3 Super League at 5 p.m. BST, followed by the LMP2s at 8, and obviously touring cars. Touring Car Sunday rounds off the week, each and every week. And also, we see Nathan Rutter there getting well into the back there of ALTEL, running into him, and it looks like he's spun it into the barriers. Oh no, Nathan taking a while to get it turned back round again. He's lost lots and lots of time. He's now about 10 seconds behind this battle, as we see here. Emo Guy trying to fend off ALTEL. ALTEL giving it absolutely everything. And Emo Guy's got a little bit wide onto the curve, and now ALTEL's going to have a chance here. He's right up his bumper. ALTEL opting for the better exit here out onto this long straight here. You can see that I definitely must have got a better run. As we see also, we've got Mutts Nuts trying to defend from Smithy. Smithy had looked to the inside, but he couldn't make it work for the time being. Let's see what Emo Guy's doing. Did he manage to hold off ALTEL coming into the chicane? As we see here, it looks like he did indeed. Goes a little bit wide though, which means ALTEL is going to try and go for the switchback, but it looks like Emo Guy just about parking his car in the right place and not being able to find a way past. Emo Guy doing a stellar job here of managing to defend that position. Very, very impressive racing indeed. 3 laps left to go here for the feature race for round 1 of Motive Racing's Touring Car Championship here at the Nuburgring Sprint Course. What a night of racing this has been. Non-stop action from the word go. And it's not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. Smithy trying to fend off Granity and the Mustard if he can. The Mustard's up the inside here. Smithy looks like he's going to try and cut the inside here. He has made the move sick, but Smithy surely going to try and fight back. No, he can't. And Mutts Nuts back up into P4. Mutts Nuts has shown some fantastic racecraft tonight. Throughout the entire evening, really, we've seen some brilliant overtaking moves from us Flying Scotsman. As we see here, Smithy going a little bit wide onto the curb, and he can't make it stick on Simon for the time being. It looks like Mutz is up into P4, but Smithy going for the switchback. Great exit there from Smithy. He's going to try and hang it around the outside, and he makes it work as well. But he's almost onto the grab a little bit onto the curb, and he has to allow everyone to go past him there. Falgas is through, Minor Peanuts through, and Granite Steve's right onto the back of him as well. Unbelievable racing from these guys here. This is the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. The Mutz Nuts, Falgas, Minor Peanut, Smithy, and Granite Steve all battling over the same piece of tarmac. Who is going to get this, Ravi? Who is going to get it, man? I don't know who's going to get it.
Smithy is going to.
You heard it, you heard it here. Ravi putting his bets here on Smithy, but Smithy currently sat 7th. He's got to pass all 3 of these guys with 2 laps left to go. Having said that, though, it's constantly chopping and changing, so you never know what is going to happen here as they come down the pit straight. 4 guys here coming into turn 1. Oh my goodness me! Look at that, Smithy looking to the inside there. Oh, foul. He's going to try and hold it. Foul in the end. Domino effect there. And running into... Oh, no. Mudder Peanut and foul. No, Mudder Peanut and Steve there going into the barriers. And now that's really unfortunate for those guys. It was just a domino effect there. Foul ended up pinging into him because of Smithy on the inside there. And looks like Mutz giving Smithy a little bit of a bump there up the bum for good measure. And now Falgas has got the position ahead of Mutz Nuts. He's up into 5th place here. Smithy sat P4. So Ravi, your dreams come true, my man. You said this time a lap ago Smithy was going to come P4, and he's currently sat in that position. I think we're getting a bit of lag on this Discord call, but I think we're just currently seeing Smithy here. Sat P4 at the moment. He's got Mutz Nuts just a second down the road from him. Falgas trying to battle this one out if he can. We're on to what is the last lap, or just a lap and a bit left to go here in this feature race. What a race this has been. Who is going to get 5th place here between the Mutz Nuts and Falgas? Lap 20 of 20. Here we go. Falgas looking to the inside here, coming down the pit straight. Mutz Nuts leaves the door open here, coming up towards turn 1. Is he going to keep it ballsy on the brakes? It looks like he does. Falgas is up the inside. Mutz Nuts turns in on him, and it looks like we got contact here. And these guys go massively wide, and that's allowed Minor Peanut and Smithy. Well, no, Smithy was already up ahead of them, but Minor Peanut has managed to get involved in this, and he's up into P5 now. Mutz Nuts goes a little bit wide. Foul almost gunning into him there, and a little bit of contact there. It looks like Foul had to back out of it, had to slam on the brakes to avoid more contact there. They were almost stuck together there, and Foul gets very sensibly putting his foot on the brake, making sure that they could break apart from each other, which has essentially allowed the Mutz Nuts into some clean air behind Minor Peanut. But Minor Peanut now finds himself with some fantastic points here in this race. These guys 26 seconds off of the race leader. Where is the race leader, the only G? Just smiles on him if we can. Here he comes. The only G is coming into the last corner now, and it's going to be 2 wins out of 2 for G here in the touring car division here at Motive Racing. Fantastic, flawless performance tonight at the Nuburgring Sprint Course. He comes over the line to take the win by 5 seconds ahead of Ollie. Ollie, best of the rest. Great job from our man here tonight. Finishes in P2. Sebas in the end completes the podium. It looks like actually the only G. Oh my goodness. G had an enormous penalty, which has dropped him back to P2. He had an 11-second penalty. My goodness. I had no idea about that. The only G in the end, dropping down to P2. Seba Stefano takes the win in the feature. Olimar P3, Smithy, Minor Peanut, Falgas in the end, managing to hold on ahead of Grandad C and the Mutz Nuts. Smoky Devil and ATL completing that top 10. It looks like there's a lot of chopping and changing with the penalties at the end there. Emo Guy, Nathan Rutter, Mr. Rogie, DJ Phil. What a race tonight, Ravi. Some fantastic action, non-stop chopping and changing during that race. And I mean, I was all ready to say congratulations to the only G, but Sebas in the end taking the win by virtue of the only G's penalty. It must have been for speeding in the pit lane. That's all I can imagine it could have been. So we assume also. me, I was all ready to say congratulations to the MEG. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, regardless, that was a fantastic night of racing. Thank you very much for joining us for the inaugural race of our touring car division here at Motive Racing. If you like what you see, be sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe if you're new on this channel. We've got more action coming up tomorrow evening for our GTE Championship, which will be live from 7 PM BST for our Tier 2. Tier 1 coming up at 8 PM, which should be an excellent night of racing tomorrow, and indeed throughout the week. If you want to get involved, then join our Discord server, sign up as a reserve driver. You can be part of the action that you see or that you saw on track in front of you tonight. But join us tomorrow at Fuji Speedway for round 2 of our GTEs. We'll see you guys next time. Have a lovely evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and peace out.